There is just one ground rule: stay in the moment and pay attention. Is it possible to be a silent change maker anymore?
Well, if you make a lot of noise, you can never bring about change. Have you tried on your spouse to change his habits? We have seen many clowns in the political world. They keep changing their opinions. They don't know even what their opinions are.
How do we heal the world, build bridges?
Are you happy with that? If you're not happy with that, then think over what needs to be changed.
Compassionate heart, is that the purpose of life?
Not really. Well, when you're centered and very clear in your heart what you really want, nothing can stop you. And every religion, without an exception, says God is love. And where is the love? Does it resonate in every heart today? Then what are you? Are you religious? Maybe, but you're fake. Well, I'd like to see every heart meditate.
Pranam Daaji, and good evening, everyone. My name is Veena Rao, and I'm the founding editor of NRI Pulse and the author of Purple Lotus, a novel. Thank you. So thank you so much, Heartfulness, Sanjay ji, Dilip ji, for giving me this incredible opportunity to talk to Daaji. It is such an immense honor, heartfelt honor.
Thank you, Daaji.
Thank you. So there is just one ground rule: stay in the moment and pay attention. So I prepared 3 pages of questions, but I'm told that I have just 15 minutes. So let's get to the questions immediately. And my first question to you, Daaji, is: you've been called the silent change maker for silently transforming millions of people and communities. And you've been, like we watched in the video, you've been recognized by the government of India with a Padma Bhushan. You've been recognized by the United Nations. You've been called the Ambassador of Peace. So my question is, in this world of aggressive PR and social media, is it possible to remain a silent change maker? And for some of us who want to remain silent change makers, do you have any tips?
Well, if you make a lot of noise, you can never bring about change. Your energy will be wasted in making noise. So you have no other choice. If you want to change yourself, or if you want to change even anyone, if they want to, something can be done. See, making noise doesn't help anyone. Have you tried on your spouse to change his habits?
No, but I'm just thinking, if you're not out there, like I wrote a book and I had to spend 2 years marketing it. So is it possible to be a silent change maker anymore?
Well, somewhere you have to start quietly. Because whosoever brings about or intends to bring about change in the world, it cannot happen by making noise. You look like a clown then, see. Yeah? We have seen many clowns in the political world. They keep changing their opinions. They don't know even what their opinions are. Right? So one has to first of all have an established philosophy, what they want from their own life for themselves. And having mastered one's own life, see how one can share that knowledge of mastering one's life and share it with others in a quiet manner, see. Otherwise it becomes too pompous.
So, all right, thank you.
Thank
so
you.
let's move on to the next question. We watched a video about Kanha, Shanti, Vanam. My question was about this. I know that you talk about meditation, but Kanha, Shanti, Vanam also does a lot of other work in terms of afforestation, growing trees. You do a lot of research. You have programs for water preservation. So can you talk a little bit about Shantivanam and how is it funded?
Everybody is interested in funds. Huh?
Absolutely.
Well, a meditator, if he has to practice meditation 24/7, is a failure. Just a few minutes of meditation to start with in the morning is enough. And allow the product of meditation, which is the meditative mind, which is calm and centered within oneself. Let that mind do the work during rest of the day period. When you come back home, meditate again for a few minutes so that the garbage that we have collected from work does not affect yourself, at the same time the family members. So erase those things. And that's possible through this practice. The vibrations we carry from the work environment, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. But whatever they are not good for the overall harmony and the health of each individual. See? So when we say you are meditating and you are also doing so much, but without meditation you cannot do so much. To do many things, one has to have a centered mind. Multitasking needs a centered mind. Housewife looking after children, pampering the husband, listening to his garbage, going to work also, doing the laundry and whatnot, and clean the house. I think that's why Indian women, they don't want to come to America anymore. See. Yeah, enslaved here, somehow. So, meditation somehow helps us sail through this maze that we have created in our lives. See. If you are a student and if you are meditating with a calm and peaceful mind, you can do much more. A businessman can make a decision with a clear mind. If a politician is spiritual, if there is something like what we call spiritual politician, they can do, he's not silent, can achieve a lot. Meditation centers you. That's the main thing. And centering helps in many things. Your work, whatsoever you are doing, becomes more and more efficient. Your quality of work will improve. The time you spend in doing your work again and again will also reduce. And you will also see how you can save economically any project that you have. Once you close your eyes, not just meditating on divinity or Lord Jesus or Lord Krishna, but you can meditate also on the project that you have, looking at it from 360 degrees and see where one can go wrong and cut it
Yeah.
before you even execute it.
Right. But a lot of times we feel that we're so busy from morning to night. This needs to be done, this needs to be done. So how do we carve out the time for meditation?
Look, once upon a time till 2003, starting from 1981, I was running many pharmacies in New York State and New Jersey, a chain of pharmacies. At the same time, I was also having motel with Brother Santosh in Austin, Texas. Few businesses in India. Doing business or businesses, running household, and also meditating, they don't interfere or they are not at conflict. In fact, Gandhiji used to say that if you are really, really, really busy, take a pause, meditate. Because through meditation, you will be able to know what not to do, whom not to meet, with whom not to waste your time. So you'll save a lot of time that way. And things you're going to do, you're foreseeing it ahead of time. So you know already how you're going to do it, how you're going to execute it. So I think it prepares you.
Right. So Daaji, going back to Kanha Shanti Vanam, what is its mission? What is its purpose and mission, and how does it impact society?
Well, I like to see every heart meditate. I have seen so far through observation and as a student that religions, be it Hinduism, be it Islam or Christianity or Judaism or non believers, to me, non believers are quite honest. Most corruption happens through religious practices. And because of these religions, we have faced so much of violence, not only now, but also have seen in the past. So the role of religion that was there originally by their founders to reconnect people, religion, religare, to reconnect, is actually has failed with its role and is creating division in the society, hatred amongst all. So through meditative mind, one can remove all this and say, no, I'm not going to fall for this treacherous, corrupt practices. Yesterday I was at some temple and I asked a few questions. They were reciting some slokas. Somebody else was reciting sloka. I asked few youngsters, did you understand what he was blubbering? None of them understood. Okay. Second thing, someone else doing offering puja or the worship on your behalf to the deity in the temple in proxy. I asked, would you send your wife with your best friend for honeymoon? I mean, it's a tough question. But why are you doing this worship in proxy? You recruit someone who will offer prayer on your behalf. That is not spirituality. That is not religion. That is absurd. It's time for all religions to die, actually. Some of you may say I'm an extremist. Yes, I'm an extremist. But you see what your religion has done so far. Look at it honestly in an authentic way. Has it served you? Only way, go back to the essence of the religion. And every religion, without an exception, says God is love. And where is the love? Does it resonate in every heart today? Then what are you? Are you religious? Maybe, but you are fake.
So my next question is kind of related to this. I was going to say that the world is so divided, families are divided, friendships are divided, communities are divided. So how do we heal the world and build bridges?
Well, start with yourself. Be at peace within yourself. You see, through individual peace only you can have global peace. United Nations has this dream, world peace, and we have World Peace Day. But how can you attain global peace without individual peace? Even in a family, how can all family members remain in harmony if even one person is restless and in trouble? So the healing starts with the self and then help others if other wants help. If others don't want help, you can't push the change on others. As I was asking Binaji earlier, should I repeat that again? Have you been able to change the mind of your spouse? Try it. So, if you want to bring about some positive changes in somebody, they have to they have to be wanting it. Say, that I want to change. And one has to get frustrated with the present state of your being present state of your emotion, present state of your mind, the way you think, understand, and use your wisdom. Are you happy with that? If you're not happy with that, then think over what needs to be changed. And how are you going to bring about that change? Every essence, as I was saying, essence of every religion is love. And how would you reflect love? Not through legs and hands and head, it's always through the heart. Lord Jesus talks about the presence of the Lord, divinity in the heart. Krishna talks of, he says, I dwell in every heart. So many religions, Buddhism talks about presence of divinity in the heart. And where are we looking for divinity? Outside, all the time. So when the direction is wrong, when will you reach your home?
Right. So, Daji, let's talk a little bit about your book, Spiritual Anatomy. So, can you talk about how spiritual anatomy can be integrated with physical and mental health? First of all, what is spiritual anatomy and how do you integrate it with physical and mental health?
Well, it's a deep question actually. It needs another 3-4 hours of session.
Which we don't have, unfortunately.
Well, how do we see? How do we hear? How do we have that touch sensation physically? Right? But if my nerve, the nerve, optic nerve connecting my optic center is cut, though you may have a very healthy eye, but that connection is lost. Optic center is damaged. Then you won't be able to see things despite of having healthy eye. So there is something behind. And what is it that provokes the nerves to perceive things? We say there are neurotransmitters that work. Okay. How are these neurotransmitters working? Let me ask you a question. When certain molecules, nutrients, various amino acids, they're flowing through your blood, glucose, fructose, and whatnot, all kinds of chemicals they flow through. Besides, on top of that, we have neurotransmitters. They also flood our blood system. How do they reach, cross the cell membrane level, goes into the cell, goes to the right position, and work it out? Who has synthesized this mechanism? When, at the moment of conception, the chromosomes are shared, mother's and father's chromosomes, how do they play out and how the genetic material manifests? One thinks of becoming the kidney, another thinks of becoming the liver, another thinks of becoming the lungs. Who decides this? What is the program behind, hidden in that little drop from both mother and father? Now let me ask another question so that this whole thing could be understood better. My father used to ask, Bete, remember one thing. And it's a very simple example which we have all have witnessed, and if not directly, but we have heard. Mothers, they already know how painful it is to deliver a baby. She goes through hell, actual hell. So much of pain. But she begins to smile. Do you know when? And there's a beautiful cry of the baby. Baby begins to cry, and the mother under agony begins to smile. If baby does not cry, mother is inquiring, what happened? What happened? Where is the baby? and the baby still does not cry, then doctors go crazy. They run around, doctors and nurses try to resuscitate till the baby upside down and tap the back so that baby can breathe, heart can kick on, baby can cry. And then, even then, baby does not cry, mommy has to cry. Now you understand this scenario. There is a life force that comes along, whether you call it Jiva or Atman or the soul or life force. It does not really matter what you call that. Without that life force, you would not be sitting here. You cannot go to a temple. You cannot go to a church. You can do nothing. Without that entity, you cannot even breathe. Have you ever been grateful? Ask yourself honestly, deeply, and say, okay, have you even tried to feel that presence that gives us life? Then why are you searching for it outside? Your wife is at home and try to find her in the mall, you find somebody else only. Say. And if your search is outside, your beloved who is within can never be at peace. So when we have the wrong direction, wrong way of life, how can you have peace? Your search is wrong. But moment your search becomes authentic, your search becomes, or the direction of your search is all right, then you'll have some peace. The soul will understand, the life force will understand that yes, the purpose for which I have incarnated, now this embodied person is cooperating. So there will be grace automatically. People talk of grace, they speak, invite grace, but hardly anyone has really experienced grace. You can experience peace, joy, but to experience grace is a descent directly from God. Such individuals are rare. It is only through meditation that we can remove the impurities and complexities which have taken over our inner, I would say, temple. The heavens, there are no heavens actually. Even if they are there, you may say, okay, after death I'll reach there. But a person who is loving, who is pure in heart, God descends in such heart and He is really looking for such hearts. Then your heart becomes the heaven for you. You don't have to go anywhere for heaven.
So are you saying that compassion and a compassionate heart is what makes God or the universe happy?
Compassion.
Compassionate heart, is that the purpose of life?
Not really. Compassion simply happens once we lead a life as it should be, naturally. That's our nature. In order to become or go against compassion, crude, cruel, then you have to make efforts.
Are you saying that compassionate heart is our nature?
It's our
But
nature.
it doesn't seem that way a lot of
Because
times
we
in the modern
interfere.
world.
We interfere and say, okay, I have to hate this person. He doesn't belong to my community. See, there was a beautiful experiment done at Harvard. I like to share this because of this conditioning or conditioned affection towards certain individuals. There were research was done by a team at Harvard. I don't know the name of the experiment and the scientist, but it goes like this. In fMRI chamber, They measured the response, emotional response of a person to a video, something they play, and they see the response to the person who is in that fMRI chamber, functional fMRI, where they measure the wave pattern in the brain. So there was the video of a Jewish person being tortured, right? And few people watched it. One was a Christian, another was a Muslim, another was a Hindu, third was a Jewish person. All of these individuals had a different response. In one, there was a joy. In another one, the person being tortured, he also felt as if he is also being tortured. So the conditioning how happens because the way we identify ourselves, that I am so and so, I belong to this religion, I belong to this community, that works as filters. That occludes our vision. There was a beautiful example that narrator was sharing that when your window glass is stained or dirty, you can't see what is outside very clearly. It has to be clean. The consciousness also interferes. If my consciousness is conditioned because of my belief system, the dogmas inculcated in my psyche from my very early childhood because of religions. So our understanding is based on the external training that we undergo in life.
So if compassion alone is not the purpose of life, there's more. What exactly is the purpose of life?
Well, I start like this. Many people say non-violence is good. We all agree. Compassion is better than non-violence. In non-violence, you don't hurt others. In being compassionate, you are affectionate towards others. You are able to feel the pain of others. And then the next step is, Veena, I understand you have a headache. Then what happens? Because of my empathetic heart, I become compassionate. So Veena has headache. Though I may have Tylenol in my pocket, I might say, oh, let me keep it. I might have a headache and I'll have it tomorrow. So what is the use of being compassionate? I felt the agony and pain of somebody else, but I withheld the help. I want to do seva. I am so compassionate. But where is my next form of action? My response in a positive way to solve the problem. So compassion is not enough. There has to be a next step of action. Many people say, oh, we pray. If only fooling yourself. By praying, you try to hide your guilt. But prayer should be the last resort. Like many people are suffering because of water, food problems, residence problem, water. You provide it if you can.
Yeah. So, Daaji, my next question. Well, I'm a journalist, so I have to talk about some current issues. Just one, actually. A lot of Indian students who move here from India, they're under tremendous pressure, tremendous stress. What can we as a community do to make sure that our students are safe and happy?
You can't. Fulfill certain needs now as per the time. They need something now, and if you can manage to do it, good. You see, again, the problems are Indian students. Labeling, conditioning, I have to help Indian students. It's very narrow mind. See. You have to go beyond all these things. limited vision. There are many students. Local students also have the many problems. Sympathy arises because, as I was saying, one community was laughing at the pain of others. Another fellow was crying seeing the pain of others. So this narrows our consciousness, and because of that, humanity can never flourish. You can grow your community, but not humanity.
Right. So, Daaji, I came across a very interesting article on your blog titled I Am Ready, where you say that we need to develop the confidence that, yes, come what may, I'm ready to face it. How do you develop that kind of confidence?
Well, when you are centered and very clear in your heart what you really want, nothing can stop you. Come what may. Such words come only in a person who is very clear that I want to attain this, I want to achieve this. You want to help someone? Go ahead. Nothing will stop you. Okay. For example, someone was asking me, would you be there on such and such a day when this family is going through this and this crisis? I said, sure, I'll be there. On the last day, if I cannot make it, I'll say, okay, I can't make it. But my readiness is there.
Right. So, there's another article that I came across where you talk about samskaras. Can you talk a little bit about samskaras, intention before thought? I think that's how I understood it. To me, thoughts are something that just pop into your head and they're not
No,
in your control.
they don't just pop in.
So, how do you have intention before thought?
Well, let me explain to you a little bit from James Allen's perspective. The great British philosopher, I think one of the greatest. It will not be a verb dream, but here it goes. He says, look at a garden. Garden is maintained by an efficient gardener who plants trees, shrubs, flowering, fruiting trees according to his liking. He plans out in his head first and then executes it. In nature, forest, that's why we call it, is jungle. Things are haywire. Right?
Yeah.
Seeds are like thoughts, or thoughts are like seeds. In an unregulated mind, thoughts creates chaos, becomes like forest. In a regulated mind, it can create a beautiful garden. Now, he would also say further that how are you going to regulate your mind? He puts a question, doesn't answer it though. If he was alive, I would have asked him many questions because further in that book he says, you feel joyful or sad based on the results of your action. If they are favorable, you are happy for that moment. And the favorable thing happens because of the right action. Before doing the right action, you had many choices. And these choices were filtered and you stick to only one. How did you choose only one level of action? Because you had so many thoughts also, so many ideas. And out of those hundreds of ideas, you chose only one. And out of those hundreds of choices, how did you come and filter those choices in the form of thoughts? That's what samskaras comes into picture. Only the yogic science can explain why we think the way we think. For example, if there are half a dozen people, half a dozen friends go to Gucci store and try to select a perfume, all these half a dozen will have a different choice. The attraction or temptation is not in the object. It's in me. I choose certain perfume, maybe floral, maybe spicy, maybe woody, maybe earthly, based on my liking. And my likings are based on who I am. And who I am is the product of my emotions. And everyone carries different emotions, you see. And how do we gather all these emotions? It is because of conditioning. I give you another example to understand what this conditioning is all about. You know how they train the forest for the circus? They tie up the baby elephant from very early age, 4 legs tied up to a iron chain, and poor elephant cannot move. He's trained, he's conditioned not to move. Day after day after day, all his 4 legs are tied to 4 trees. Okay, so now he's very well trained. Later on, only 1 leg is tied, and that too with a small rope, and that too to a plastic chair in a circus. He cannot move. If he wanted, he can break away from that rope and destroy the entire circus tent. But now he is conditioned. And that's what happens to us also. Conditioning. That is samskaras.
Daaji, it's been a pleasure and an honor, and enjoyed your talk. And just on behalf of the governor of the great state of Georgia and on behalf of the city of Johns Creek, I just want to
Thank you.
thank you very much.
It's quite an honor.
It's an honor to have you here in Johns Creek. Thank you.
As you heard, May 21st, 2024 has been proclaimed in Georgia as World Meditation Day. Heartfulness meditation is a practice that encourages individuals to cultivate inner peace, harmony, and a deeper connection with oneself and others through meditation and self-reflection. So much of what we do in Georgia state government is to fight problems of mental health, of substance abuse, and bad behavior. And prayer and meditation and faith are truly the answer. So thank you for what you're doing. Welcome to Georgia. Daaji, thank you for the good you're doing. I think that will look great in the world's largest meditation venue.
Please come.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you.